Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Chat Oils in the Kitchen. We're going to talk primarily how to use oils in food and drinks, but also Damo's going to talk a little bit broader than that. But to start off with, I'd love to just go through the 3 easy ways to use oils. So let's recap on them. Whether you're new to oils or maybe you've used them for ages or dabbled, it's just good to have a little bit of an overview of that. A bit of safety, especially when you're using doTERRA oils in your food and drinks. And then we'll spotlight on Juniper Berry. So if you've got Juniper Berry, I actually recommend that you go and smell it while you're listening. It'll anchor the information, you'll retain it every time you use Juniper Berry. So let's start with the 3 ways to use oils. We can use them in our food and drink often when we check that it's safe to do. We can use them on our skin, again, when it's safe to do so, and around us in the diffuser, from the palms of our hand. You can cup together to your nose. You can use them in a car diffuser. So they're the 3 ways: in us, on us, and around us. When we're using them in our food and drinks, we want to be mindful that we've checked, yes, they're safe to use as a flavouring. How do we do that? It'll be written on the label, so you'll be able to see, for example, Juniper Berry says for flavouring use, dilute 1 drop in food or liquid. Now 1 drop may in fact be quite strong and you might want less. So there's a way of going about this. You can get a toothpick, pop it in the top, and then swirl that through your bowl, your dish, or your drink. Or you can get the tiny little 1 ml sample vials, and when you tap them, it comes out as 1/4 of a drop. And I know Damo loves to do this because you've got much more control over how much of the oil you're using. You can use 3/4 of a drop, for example, by tapping it 3 times. While we're looking at safety, we want to consider the ratio that we're using. We never want to use them in our ears, in our eyes, up our nostrils, private parts, any sensitive areas. Armpits can be a bit sensitive. Top lip can be a little bit delicate too. If you do accidentally get them wiped in any of these areas, and it can happen, just reach for a carrier oil and it will carry the essential oils to one spot that you can then wipe away with a dry cloth. So carrier oils would be things like coconut oil, almond oil, olive oil, some sort of oil base that you've got in the cupboard, in the pantry. Please don't reach for water, as water and oil don't mix. It will spread, it'll make it worse. We all have a bit of a story about how that's happened to each of us at one time or another. So hopefully you'll hear this and remember, if you get it in your eye or anywhere sensitive, to use that carrier oil. When we're using the hot oils, we do suggest to dilute them with the carrier oil. We're talking about using them on our skin in this sense. So that would be oils like peppermint, cassia, cinnamon, oregano, clove, those kind of oils. When we're using them in food and drink, we want to veer away from using plastic and use glass or stainless steel, just so it doesn't leach the plastic toxins. We don't want to be eating or drinking that. And then finally, citrus oils, when we're using them on us, avoid putting it anywhere that will see the sunlight. It'll photosynthesize with the UV light, could make your skin go blotchy. So instead, use it under your hairline or under clothing or at night. So they're just my safety tips. I'd love to hand over to you now, Damo. We're going to spotlight Juniper Berry, and it's a very exciting oil. Tell us about it.
I really enjoy using Juniper Berry in the kitchen. They're actually the 3 ways that you mentioned before. So the internally, topically, and aromatically. So that means when we're in the kitchen, we get to use them obviously in the food as a flavoring, but topically, when you're working with the food itself and your hands are in the bowl kneading the dough or mixing the rice or whatever it is you're actually doing, you're absorbing the oil into your skin. Also, aromatically speaking, like as long as you can smell it, you're going to get a benefit from it. So whether it's cooking the oils in some kind of curry or steaming with food with the oils, if you can smell it before, after, during your meal, you're benefiting from it. And something that I like to live by is you eat food, but a meal is an experience. And what we're doing here with essential oils is we're creating a meal, like an experience, rather than just slopping stuff on a plate and just throwing it in as quick as we can. We really want to highlight flavors and benefits, not only physically, but emotionally as well. Oils, as I said before, they used internally a lot when you're eating them, but it goes much deeper than that. So one of the methods I tend to do is with juniper berry especially, is because juniper berries are a muscle relaxant kind of oil is if I'm cutting something up and I work as a caterer, like I'll stand there for hours and hours cutting stuff up. So I put the juniper berry, like a couple of drops in the divots along the handles of my knives. And what that actually does is it soaks into my hand and prevents it from cramping up as much. But you'll also notice that your skin doesn't get dry or blistered like it would otherwise. That's one of my favorite methods to use it. But you can also, again, with a knife, you could rub the essential oil actually on the blade of the knife. And while you're cutting up food, you actually get the oil infused into the food. You could typically do this with fruits. In a 5 ml bottle of juniper berry oil, there's actually close to half a kilo of juniper berries in every single bottle. And a fun fact I like to look at is juniper berry is a part of the cypress family and is a pre-evolution to the cedarwood family. And there are over 50 species of juniper. So the juniper we're actually focused on is the common juniper. Now, not everyone actually knows this, but juniper berries aren't actually a berry. They're the female seed cone produced by various species of junipers, and they're made out of an unusually fleshy and merged like scale. So you can't actually see the scales in it unless you actually get it under a microscope. But that's what gives it the berry-like form, hence the name juniper berry. Juniper berry is native to tropical Africa, parts of Asia, Central America, Australia, and even the Arctic before it froze. doTERRA sources the juniper berry from the trees in Albania, and these trees live up to 200 years. The berries are harvested when they turn blue, and they're still distilled to extract the oil. For you guys who don't know what distilling is, that is just the most common method for extracting essential oils. So what happens is the plants almost get boiled in a sense, but the essential oils have a higher evaporation point. So they will rise up in the steam that comes off the plants, and then they get cooled back down, and the oil and the water that comes out of the steam gets separated once again. And that's how we end up with the oil. So juniper berry is a very versatile oil, and it also means that it gets to pair with heaps and heaps of other essential oils. So the edible ones that we're focusing on: ginger, grapefruit, pink pepper, rosemary, clary sage, tangerine, black pepper, ginger, lemon, and lavender. So with these, you'll find that each kind of pairing will highlight a different aspect of the juniper berry itself. For example, the juniper berry has like a dry, savory green and like a gently warming kind of pine flavor. So when you pair that with, say, ginger, it will draw out more of the dry and pine kind of flavors. Whereas if you pair it with something like a tangerine, it'll bring out more of the green, savory kind of flavors in the berries. So when you're pairing juniper berry with other essential oils or even with other foods and plants in the kitchen, it can actually alter the taste of an oil like that's so versatile, like the juniper berry. So it's really interesting. Some of my favorite cooking techniques for juniper berry essential oil is actually to diffuse. So if you have a diffuser, I find it actually more effective than smoking dishes. So I'll diffuse into a bowl or glasses, and again, remembering food is what you eat and a meal is the experience. So I'm creating a scent with my food. So you can taste and smell two different things at once. And what actually happens is your brain will push them all into one. So it creates this really developed experience when it comes to eating your food. So if I were to diffuse into my glasses with the juniper berry and lime or something before I added my sparkling water with lemon, I'm going to be able to taste the drink and smell the juniper berry at the same time, which gives us that such deep complexity within our foods. And it's something so simple. Like almost everyone I know has a diffuser and they have access to juniper berry, like the essential oil. So like it's something that can be done. And like what we're really trying to do here is create and teach people how to be able to engage with their food in such ways. And another tool that's juniper berry is great for is actually chopping boards. So I don't know how many of you have a charcuterie every Wednesday night, but I love to have charcuterie boards all the time. And again, as I said before, when you smell it, you're getting the benefits and you're experiencing it. So another thing that I like to do, and this is on my marble charcuterie board, is I'll get an essential oil and I'll get like a paper towel and I actually just wipe over the surface of it. So my food is slowly incorporating the juniper berry essential oil itself into it. But also, as typically you share a charcuterie board and everyone's will reach in, will get close to it, and they're able to smell that. And it creates this really relaxed atmosphere. So when you're sharing food, it's a reduced of tension. And often, especially if you're an introvert, it really benefits us in ways like that.
You're making us all hungry, I'm sure, but I really admire how you're bringing in all the different elements. So you've got the taste of the essential oils, but also the aroma and the sensation of the touch when you're reaching for the food on the charcuterie board.
So there's another method that I use for a lot of edible essential oils when we're cooking, like boiling or steaming or sous vide. Now, for you guys who don't know what sous vide is, it's this tool which will hold water at the exact temperature you set it at. So the smoking point of juniper berry is 41 degrees Celsius. So if I set my sous vide to 40 degrees Celsius, I could cook something for a really long time. And at that temperature, like the water wouldn't go above it. And so the essential oil won't evaporate and it won't be damaged during that process. It is something I highly recommend because the flavor and the textures, you won't get the same thing ever. It is that elevated and that exquisite. And if you go to a Michelin star restaurant, that's the kind of things that they serve you. And imagine being able to pop that out like Michelin star food with such highly developed flavor profiles. I think that would be pretty cool. One of my most recent dishes that we've created, my juniper sticky rice, the recipe's right there. Now, Anna got to try this for the first time. When was that?
Last week, and I tell you, it was stunning. That's actually the photo of the sticky rice that Damo served to me and my son, and very generous serving. The exquisite flavour profile of the juniper berry. It was so delicate. It matched beautifully with the mango. I love how you thought of the fruit to accompany it, and a really gentle sweetness. But the juniper berry is almost like a, would you say it's almost a spice in this combination? Yeah, tell us more, Damo.
In this situation, the mango, because it's a sweeter kind of flavor, it brings out the green, piney, spicy kind of flavor that juniper berry has. And because it's served with your fresh, like cold mangoes and your nice hot rice, it that contrast in temperature removes that drier kind of flavor that you would normally get from eating juniper berry. And so when you do things like that, you can manipulate the essential oil to be able to highlight certain things about it. So one of my favorite pairings with the juniper berry is with rice. And I love making juniper sticky rice, like whenever someone comes over, because it's such an easy dish to make. And if I know that someone's coming over, all I have to do is soak the rice and that's all the preparation done. And then I just pull out a couple of mangoes, I cook the rice and basically throw the essential oil in there while it's steaming, like easy peasy. And so it's a great recipe. Now, the juniper berry, now it works really well with anything like limey, peppery, or spicy. And we see that a fair few times across the fruits and the rice dishes even. So you could do so many combinations here, but with fruits in particular, so the fruits that I like to use juniper berry with the most is the mangoes, passion fruit, the kiwi fruit, and the watermelon. Now, every fruit kind of alternates the flavor just slightly, but it really highlights the parts of the juniper berry that I like. So in these fruits, I really like the pine flavor and the savory, like, and gentle flavors. So we see that a lot. Now, watermelon's the only one here where the dryness of the juniper berry will come through a slight amount. But I personally find that really nice because the watermelon is so juicy. And if you get a fresh, crispy watermelon, like the contrast is just really pleasant on the palate. But some drinks that we really like with Juniper Berry in, we go for fruity drinks, sweet drinks, strong tasting drinks, and slightly bitter drinks. So I've always found that bitter and dry flavors pair really well. Now, this doesn't have to be alcohol either. I don't drink alcohol, so I'm not going to offer any alcoholic recipes. But what I can say is in savory mock, you will find a slightly bitter fruit. For example, grapefruit is a great base in mocktails, and utilizing the juniper berry in that will pair really beautifully. But then we go on to strong tasting mocktails. So if I'm doing like a elderberry syrup as my base in a mocktail, I would absolutely throw something like juniper berry in, because it's got that very gentle undertone that removes the pow kind ofness that you get out of the one sip, and it keeps getting you to come back for more. Now they go hand in hand. Mango smoothie, mango passion fruit smoothie, kiwi watermelon cordial, like so many combinations here where the juniper berry can be utilized. But some things I'd love, if you guys do have your juniper berry, I'd love for you guys to try something like juniper berry and coconut yogurt. So this will really get you to highlight the flavors found within juniper berry. Now, if you're getting a single serve of coconut yogurt, I wouldn't recommend anything over a quarter of a drop, because again, our essential oils are so strong, but that's what we like about them. Or you could use the toothpick method a bit. If you can, get the little drams or the sample bottles. It's something I'd really encourage you guys to try, so you can get a little adventurous. And also, because coconut yogurts are fat, but it's also considered a neutral food, I guess you could say, the juniper berry is not going to sit on top of it. So the oil is actually going to mix in, and you're actually not going to get hit with that one big waft of flavor. You're just going to be able to really, again, get to know the flavor of juniper berry. Now, you can eat it any time of the day. So juniper berry is a relaxant, I will say that, but it's not an essential oil that makes you necessarily sleepy. If you're already sleepy and you ingest it, obviously it's going to relax you and make you feel more sleepy. So I wouldn't recommend that if you've got a long drive or something ahead of you like that. And lastly, I love juniper berry in salads. So it works really well with fruits. And on the other hand, it works really well with leafy greens, which also happen to work with fruits. So if you've never had a mango salad, you're missing out. If you go for a light dressing with like your vinegary, olive oily kind of flavors, juniper berry will again have those correct undertones to really elevate your food.
Thank you so much, Damo. You've brought so much enlightenment to this beautiful essential oil, juniper berry, which is actually going to be so helpful for those who are already doTERRA members. Now, those who are not yet members, don't worry, I've got some info for you too. But for those who are already members, did you know that juniper berry is actually your free gift this month, along with a beautiful little ceramic ornament that actually acts as a diffuser. So you'll just drop your juniper berry or a combo of your favorite oils onto the ornament, hang it on the tree, hang it in the toilet room, take it in your car. It'll just be a really gentle passive diffuser. Damo actually has one on his kitchen table, so when you're dining, you just have that gentle aroma wafting, and it's quite powerful in how well it works. So that's amazing for members. You guys, all you have to do is put your monthly order through before the 15th of December for 125 points worth. So if you're not sure what that is, get back to your person who introduced you to doTERRA and they'll explain it. Now, do remember, if you put together a 200 point order, you'll get these two gifts and the free frankincense. I tell you, there's no better month than December for freebies in doTERRA. But that's great for members. Now, if you're not yet a member and you're like, what is all this member business? What's she going on about? Okay, so to become a member, you can pay $35, and that'll give you the best products at the best prices, which means you get 25% off for the whole year. You come into our community, you get amazing education from people like Damo, our workshops, our online education. You'll also receive free entry to our online oil camp. We've got so much going on, in person, online, everywhere. There's a way though that you can actually get that membership for free. So You can choose a starter pack, and again, your oil person will help you with what that means and what the options are. Or you can make up your own order of 100 points and you'll get the membership and your postage for free. So, to give you a little insight in what that might look like, we actually have this combo that Damo mentioned, the juniper berry with ginger and tangerine. It's just a couple to get started. They're oils that you'd use in your kitchen, and you can see the savings, save $90 there. So that'll link you up with Damo. Again, if you were introduced from someone else, please go back to your oil person. If you've got questions, comments, or you're ready to get started, connect back to the person who invited you here. And if you enjoyed what you heard tonight and you want to share this with friends, Damo and I can come round, we can put the kettle on, we can open some oils up, we can tell you how to use them, keep it simple, keep it fun, and you get this cute little keychain. So in the picture there you can see the little 1 ml bottles, and we gift that to you with a couple of drops of all those oils in there for having a get together. On the screen it says it's a class. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it a morning tea, afternoon tea, party, workshop, get together, whatever. We just like to share the word about essential oils and help others to get started with theirs. Damo, we're back again in a fortnight, but thank you everyone for watching. We're looking forward to this being a regular, fun, informative get together where you take away ideas and inspiration. We'll see you again for Let's Chat Oils in the Kitchen, same time, same place in a fortnight. Thanks everyone.